Lost and Found, Part 4, Lost Modesty, the Disappearance of Ḥayāʻ in the Age of Exposure. This is your brother Rizwan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Part 4 of the series. To my brothers, my sisters, the seekers of truth, to the scrollers who accidentally landed on this lecture between gym selfies and cooking reels. I'm your brother Rizwan, the echo of the fitra you keep hitting snooze on. The reminder that pops up in your heart like a YouTube ad before you sin. And the guy who tried to wear a robe at the gym but once just to promote modesty, but almost passed out in the treadmill. Because today we're talking about modesty, not the one the internet laughs at, but the one the angels love. Ḥayāʻ. The beautiful word that got lost in translation. We say modesty, but in Arabic, it's not just clothing. It's Ḥayāʻ, a powerful word that means shyness before Allah, shame in doing wrong, inner dignity that protects your outer self, and beauty that begins from the soul. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, every religion has a distinct characteristic, and the characteristic of Islam is Ḥayāʻ, modesty. This is mentioned in the Hadith Ibn Majah. That's how deep it runs. It's not a rule, it's identity. Where did it go? The world that made modesty a punchline. Let's be real. Modesty today is treated like a crime. The more you cover, the more they ask, what are you hiding? But the more you reveal, the more they devalue you. Today's world turned privacy into insecurity, nudity into empowerment, and exposure into confidence. But the fitra knows that's a lie, wrapped in glitter. Modesty was never meant to cage you, it was meant to crown you. Imagine this. A priceless diamond, would you keep in a plastic bag or a velvet case? Islam doesn't say you're weak, it says you're valuable. O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters and the women of believers to bring down over themselves their part of their outer garments. That is more suitable than they would be known and not to be abused. This is in the Quran, chapter 33, verse 59. Not so they're hidden, but they're respected. Men, you're not off the hook. Modesty isn't just for sisters. Allah told the men first, tell the believing men to lower their gaze and to guard their chastity. This is in the Quran, chapter 24, verse 30. Real men don't stare. Real men don't like, share, comment, or DM what's haram. You can't ask for a modest wife while following models online. Guard your eyes. That's the first step to guarding your soul. Modesty in dress, speech, character in a digital world. It's not just how we dress. It's how we talk, walk, type, post, joke, scroll, so much more. Today, immodesty is a currency. The more skin, the more views. The more vulgar, the more claps. The more modest you are, the more heaven applauds. Why Ḥayāʻ is a sign of a soft heart. The Prophet, peace be upon him, says, Ḥayāʻ and faith are companions. If one is lifted, the other follows. This is in Sahih Bukhari. So if modesty disappears, faith is leaving the chat. And when the world becomes obsessed with the external attention, Islam reminds us that Allah looks at your heart and your deeds, not your followers. A note for my sisters and the future mothers of the Ummah. Dear sister, you are not oppressed because you wear a hijab. You are not liberated because you are obedient to Allah, not to likes, stares, or social pressure. Modesty isn't a prison, it's a shield. And if someone can't see your worth because you don't expose yourself, then they were never worthy of your time to begin with. Modesty, that turns heads into a good way. So many reverts say, I started dressing modesty before I accepted Islam because it's just what I felt. That's the fitra. That's inner compass we all have. It knows that exposure brings emptiness and covering brings calm. The final reflection. You are not just a body, you are a soul wrapped in honor. Modesty isn't about shame, it's about self-respect. And in the world that teaches girls to show everything and boys to chase everything, Islam teaches us to protect everything, especially our hearts. Because when you walk with dignity, you don't just represent yourself, you represent Islam. Next up, part 5, the series finale, Lost Light, How to Return the Fitra and Rise Again. It's the grand finale, the call to come back, the guide to rebuild. We're bringing it back home with heart, hope, and healing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.